Hey, dear soulmates, you're welcome to today's tutorial of Venezuela. My name is Benedicta, and today I'm going to be sharing with you how to cut and sew this beautiful vintage shirt you see me wearing here. I also went ahead to make a trouser with it. So, guys, if this is of interest to you, please do keep watching. Okay, so guys, to make this two-piece clothing, I'll be making use of this fabric. I have 3¼ yardage of fabric there, 3¼ yardage, yes, for fabrics there, and I'm going to be making use of my soft stay measurements, my tape measure, and of course my scissors, and then some pins to pin at some point. So to fold our fabric, we're going to be making use of a bigger circumference, that is the full length of our shirts. That's it. I think around the hip area. That's actually the biggest circumference for mine shirt. So I'm making use of it. So divided by 4, the circumference divided by 4 plus 5 inches, which is going to be serving as our button allowance. Okay, and then also 1 inch for sewing allowance. So here I'm going ahead to measure what I have. The full leg circumference I'm working with is 9 inches. 9 inches plus 5 inches, I think I have 14, and then 1 inch for sewing allowance, 15. So here I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into two with this measurement. So first thing first, we're going to be marking out our 5 inches at the beginning of our center front of our front piece, because we're marking out our front piece first. So I'm making dotted lines 5 inch at the 5 inch mark there, which I'm going to be connecting to a straight line later on. So I'm going ahead to connect it into a straight line like so. So afterwards, we're going to be marking out a straight line at the upper part of the fabric there, which is going to be serving as our shoulder line. Okay, so there I went ahead to mark a straight line there. So that line is going to be serving as a shoulder line. Then the next thing I did was to fold that 5 inch inward. Okay, because we're not making use of it. Our measurement is starting from that 5 inch mark. So why leave it like that? We'll just have to fold it in, pin, and then take our measurement from that folded edge right there. So I'm trying to adjust them and fold them accordingly. Okay, so after folding, we'll continue with our measurements. And so guys, if you're new on our YouTube channel, do hit the subscribe button, like, share our videos with friends, and drop a comment. Okay, we'll love to hear from you. And for our returning subscribers, thank you for always dropping by. Thank you so much. So let's continue. So after pinning this fabric, I'll go ahead and then mark out that straight line, that is the shoulder line, replicate it on that folded line like so. I folded it right there, marked it right there, right there. And the next thing I'm going to be marking out right now is the my half length and then the full length of my shirt. The half length I'm working with is 17.5 inches. So I'm going ahead to mark 17.5 inches, and then the next thing I'll mark is the full length of my shirts, which is 27. And then I went ahead to add 1 inch for sewing allowance. So I went inward and marked the same thing so I can achieve a straight line. So here is my 27, and then 1 inch for hem allowance. So guys, the next thing I'm going to be doing right now is to mark out our shoulder measurement. The shoulder I'm working with is 15, and then 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. So I'll go ahead and mark 7.5 plus half an inch sewing allowance, which is 8 inches. So I'm going to mark my 8 inches right there. So afterwards, I'll be going down by 2 inches for our shoulder slope. That is from the shoulder line. I'll be going down 2 inches. So the reason why we're going down 2 inches is because it's a shirt actually, okay? It's not like a regular tops. So from the shoulder slope, I'll draw the straight line to the tip of the neck. That is the nape of the neck right there. We're not marking out our neck depth and neck width for now. So we'll be marking that out later on. Okay. So I've gone ahead to mark out this line. And then to mark out our armhole, we're going to be dividing our bust divided by 4. Bust divided by 4 minus 2 inches. Okay. Our bust divided by 4 minus 2 inches. So I went ahead to divide my bust by 4, which is 8.9, and then 8.5 rather, and then I deducted 2 inches, which is with I arrived at 6.5. So I went ahead to mark 6.5 on the line as our armhole. Okay, at the end of the day, when we're cutting our back, we're going to be adding the remaining part of our armhole to the back to make it complete. So here I went ahead to mark my bust circumference plus my 0.75 inch sewing allowance. You can use any allowance of your choice, sewing allowance of your choice. You can use 1, you can use 1.5, but I'm comfortable with my 0.75, that is 3/4 of an inch. And then on my half length, I went ahead to mark my half length circumference divided by 4 plus the sewing allowance, and then at the full length circumference divided by 4, and then sewing allowance also. So right now we're going to be connecting the lines like so, from our armhole to our half length, and then from our half length to the full length of our shirt like so. So next thing we're going to be doing is to mark out our armhole properly. So to get a straight line, I'm going to measure 8 inches at the armhole area where we're going to mark in our armhole, just for me to achieve a straight line, nothing more. Just for me to achieve a straight line to the shoulder line, okay? So here I've gone ahead to mark the 8 inches, and then from there I'm going to be coming in by 3/4 of an inch, that is 0.75 inward, and then from there I'm going to be connecting it to the armhole mark right there. You can use your armhole curve, but I prefer using my free hand. So and then connect it to the shoulder line, to the shoulder slope rather. So with this, we're almost done with the drafting of our front piece. Okay, we're almost done. We're going to be cutting it out, but before we're going to cut it out, we're going to be trimming out the lower part side of front piece. Okay, for us to have that curve, that beautiful curve. That, this is a female shirt actually. So I went up by 1.5 inch from the full length, 1.5 inch, and I also added, after going up by 1.5 inch, I also came down by 1 inch, which is going to be serving as a hemming allowance, and I went ahead to connect it to the original hemming allowance we drew earlier. Okay, so as you can see, it's at the midpoint. I did not extend it to the allowance for the button that we left earlier. So with this, we're going to be cutting out the front piece of our shirts. Okay, like so. So guys, we're almost through. I'm going to trim it out and then continue with the back. So I'm just going ahead to remove the pins I have on them before cutting them out. So here guys, we're done with the front piece. So moving forward, we're going to be placing it on the folded fabric again to cut out the back piece. Okay, so I went ahead to fold it into two and then placed my front piece on it like so. And then next thing I'm going to be doing is to cut out that shoulder slope shape first of all before any other thing. I went ahead to cut out that shoulder slope. Okay, and then the next thing I did was move my front piece 2.5 inch downward. Okay, remember we sloped by 2 inch, so I moved the my front piece 2.5 inch downward like so. So I went ahead to measure it, so I'll make sure I have 2.5 inch. So after measuring it, I noticed I have my 2.5 inch, so we're going to continue with drafting. So like so. So next thing we're going to be doing right now is to fold over the back piece over the front piece for us to be able to cut out the neck depth and the neck width. Okay, neck depth and the neck width. That's the first thing we're going to be doing. So before then, please do not fold all the way to the shoulder, to the front shoulder. Okay, to the shoulder of the front piece rather, not all the way, at least 1.5 inch inward. Okay, you can also make a 1/2 inch mark above the shoulder of the front piece as a guide, just the way I'm doing here. So after marking it, I folded it inward like so, and I'm going to pin it so it doesn't move around. So guys, in making the shirt, actually have to take your time, especially if you're working with a fabric that moves around a lot. So it doesn't affect your measurements in any way. So next thing we're going to be doing right now is to mark our neck depth. So using the front piece as a guide, I'm going to be going down by 3.5 inch neck depth and then 1.75, though it's supposed to be 2. So at the end of the after joining and after sewing, it's going to be a total of 2 inches neck width. So I'm going to make a C curve like so, both at the front, the folded edge at the back, and then to the front. You should have something that looks like a half sphere, okay, like a half circle. So we're going to be cutting out now. So in cutting out, please make sure you're cutting out for the neck depth. I'm picking up only the front, not the back and the front, only the front, and I'm cutting it out like so, only the front. Please do not cut the back depth. So we'll cut upward, we'll cut it up towards the neck of the back, okay, like so. Cut it like so. Please take your time in cutting it, okay? You'll have a good shape. Once you take your time to cut it, the shape comes out very well. So I went ahead to trim it out, and then we're done. This is it. So I'll go ahead and trim out that pointy edge at the back right there. So I have a C right like so. As you can see, it looks like a C. So basically we're done with the neckline, okay? And then to cut out the shoulder area, please move out by 1/2 inch from the back. That's after open it up before cutting it out. Open it up, move out by 1/2 inch before cutting it out like so. So I'm going ahead to cut it out. So with this, we're done cutting out the front and the back piece of our shirts, of our vintage shirts. So I'm going ahead to trim out any excesses that I have there. I'll also adjust the shoulder line like so. So here we're done cutting, and then the next thing I'm going to be cutting out is the lapel for the back. We're going to be having a lapel at the back. Remember, we're cutting out a vintage shirt. So the lapel is not more than 8 inches. Okay, it should not be more than 8 inches is okay for the lapel, the back lapel. The front doesn't have a lapel, it's just the back. So I'll measure out the 8 inches. After placing my fabric on fold, I'll measure out 8 inches and then mark. So that's my 8 inches right there. So after folding it in, I should have like 7.5 or so. So that's my 8 inches mark. So I'm going to be trimming out like that. Like so, cutting out from the armhole area and then taking my time to cut it out, because it's really worth it cutting out, taking my time to cut it out without any mistakes. Okay, you know, the shirts, when you don't take your time, it's better you don't even make any mistake. So I removed the pins and then I cut out the 8 inches I marked earlier. If you can see the line, that is the line right there. So I'm going to be cutting out straight like so, like so. So here we're done cutting out our pieces for the shirt. So we have, what is left is just the sleeve and the collar. Remember, it's a notched collar. So first thing first, I'm going to open up the button allowance we left earlier. So I'll open it up so we can continue with the sewing, because we're moving over to the sewing right now. Okay. Mm. So like so, we're done cutting out the front. And then the next thing we're going to be doing right now is to bring in our stay. Okay, after removing the pins, I'll be bringing in my stay because I'll be ironing stay, soft stay to the button area. Okay, I'm going to be cutting out the stay for the button area. So I went ahead to cut out at least 6 inches or 5 inches rather beyond the button allowance that we left earlier. So from the tip of the shirt, that is the button allowance inward. So like this is what I mean right here. I'm going to cut it out, then iron it. So after ironing it, this is what I have. So this is what I meant when I was explaining, and I also went ahead to iron on our lapel. Okay, so here is what we have. So I went ahead to notch that 5-inch allowance that we have earlier, which is our button allowance that we left earlier. And then I did the same for the second piece. Like so. Okay, so next thing we're going to be doing right now is to come out by half of an inch from our button area. Please watch what I'm doing. I'm coming out half of an inch. That is, the reason I'm coming out half of an inch is for our button area to overlap properly. They're supposed to lap on each other. If we don't do that, then you notice that the front piece will be smaller than the back piece. Okay, if we're just going to continue sewing like just the way it is, we'll notice that the front will be smaller than the back. So I went ahead to fold half an inch, that is towards the allowance that will give for the buttons, and I'm going ahead to pin it down. So after coming out from the button area, you notice the neckline has shifted. Okay, So what I did for the first front piece, I'm doing it to the second one. So this is what I have like here. So I'm going to go ahead to iron it out. So after ironing that's sitting properly, and then you notice the neckline, I'm going to be trimming out that neckline right there that is sticking out, because we don't need it anymore. So I'll trim out the two piece. Okay, if you notice, it's on the flap. That is the flap we left for the button, like so. I'm going to trim it out. So what I did for this piece, I'm also going to bring the second piece and then trim out like so. So moving over to the sewing, we're going to bring uh, back piece, and then back facing back, please. The back of the wrong side of the back facing the wrong side of the front. We're going to be sewing it that way. Please do not pin the button flap. Join the shoulders of the two pieces, that is the back and the front, the wrong sides facing each other. So I'm going to sew the shoulders, okay, right there, and I will be back to show you what I have. So after joining the shoulders, this is what we have. Remember, we sewed on the front side. Okay, remember also on the front side. So we're going to bring in our flap, um lapel for the back rather, and then we're going to be placing it at the front. That is the front piece of our shirt, just like so. Front facing front, the front facing front, match the shoulders, and then we join them on the same line where we have joined the shoulder of the two pieces, that is the front and the back pieces. So after joining it, I went ahead to ironing, and this is what I have. After that, can you see that that seam right there is closed already? Okay, we flip it to the back and iron, because it's meant to be at the back. Flip to the back and iron, and this is what we have. Okay, so at the end, afterwards, we're going to be joining the lapel to the back of the shirt, folding half an inch inward. Okay, we fold the lapel half an inch inside, and then sew it, make a straight um sew it in a straight stitch at that area where I am pinning right now, like so. Okay, so guys, I'm actually taking my time, so I'll be able, won't miss anything on the sewing of this shirt. Okay, it actually take a bit of my time, but it's okay. So after sewing it, this is what we have, and I went ahead to give it a good press. So we'll continue with shirts proper. So next thing we're going to be doing right now is to cut out our sleeve, and of course our collar. So I'm going ahead to measure the armhole. Remember, we have 8.5, and that is our 8.5. Everything sits on it, and then 0.75. What is left is 0.75 for our joining allowance. Okay, so guys, as you can see, we don't have any shortage. So here guys, I've gone ahead to fold my fabric. I'm cutting the two sleeves at the same time. I folded once and I folded again, so I can cut the two sleeves at the same time. So my sleeve length is 9 inches, and then I added 2 inches hemming allowance, and then half an inch to join it to the shoulder of the main shirt rather. So here I'm going ahead to mark my sleeve length, sewing allowance, and then half an inch for the joining. Okay, so guys, if you don't know how to cut out a sleeve, there's a video, we have a video up for this tutorial. Do check it up. Okay, so guys, I'm done cutting out the sleeve. This is what we have. Sorry, I think I missed some clips in the process of this. I've gone ahead to also cut out our collar. So I'm going to be explaining how I cut out this collar. So first off, I went ahead to fold this fabric into two. Okay, we fold into two and then fold again into four, just the way you see me doing. So let's assume this is the back. I folded into two and I went ahead to fold again like this into four. But before I cut it out, I measured the neckline of my shirt. What I have was what I cut out this, and then the bigger part of that collar is 3 inches and then the smaller part is 2 inches, and I made a mark there to join the two. So the next thing we're going to be doing right now is to join the sides of the collar, so we'll be able to attach it to our shirt. So if you notice, I ironed a paper stay to it. Okay, I went ahead to iron my paper stay to it. You can iron on one side of the collar, you can also iron, but since my fabric is light, I went ahead to iron, make a full um stay on it, and then the stay is very light, so I'm going to join the two sides. So after joining it, I trimmed out the excess fabrics there, so it doesn't become bulky when I flip to the front part of the collar. Okay, so like so, I held the pointed area and then I flipped to the front part. So here, this is what we have. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to sew the open end of it before joining it. Okay, to keep it in place, I'm going to sew it. So after sewing it, I'm going to be attaching it to the neckline of my shirt. So first off, I'm going to notch the center back of the neckline of our shirts, and then at that neckline, that center back there, I'm going to place the notched center of our collar. Okay, I'm going to place it like so, and I'm going to sew it down from the center like so. So here I've gone ahead to sew it to our shirt. So here you can actually interlock that neckline right there. So I'll be doing mine at the end of my sewing. Okay, so now we're going to be sewing our flap, that is our button flap. We're going to be locking it in. So I'm flipping it backward, leaving out 1 inch. Okay, leaving out 1 inch, nothing less than 1 inch. Okay, leave out 1 inch, flip it to the back and then pin. Okay, connect, make it sit on the on the place where we sew the collar to the shirt line like so. Make it sit there, and then we're going to be running a stitch on that place. At the end of the flap, please fold half an inch inward. Okay, and then pin. So I'm going to be sewing that part right there, and then I'll do the same thing for the other side. 1 inch, then fold, make a fold backward and towards the neckline of our shirt like so, like so. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. Then I folded half an inch inward. Okay, like so. So I'm going to sew that part down. I'm going to sew it down like so, maintaining that stitch right there, and then I'll do the same thing for the other side. So after sewing it, this is what we have. Well, next thing we're going to be doing right now is to sew our sleeve. But first off, I went ahead to notch the mid part of our shoulder, because we're going to be attaching our sleeves right now. So I notched it. After notching, I'll be bringing in my sleeve. Okay, trim out any excesses if there is any If they are not aligned, please trim out any excesses. But mine is okay, so I'm going to be joining my sleeve to it right now. But before joining the sleeve to it, I'm going to be folding the 2 inches that we left earlier. The 2 inches hemming allowance that we left earlier, I'm going to be folding it first off like so, and then afterward I'll sew it to my shirt. I'll do the same for the second sleeve and then match them shoulders and so at the end of the day I've gone ahead to match the shoulders. I've fixed my sleeve, and then after fixing my sleeve I went ahead to join the sides. Okay, once you fix your sleeve, join the sides, and then here we are done with our shirt. So the only thing left right now is to fix our buttonholes. Okay, is to fix our buttonholes, give it a good press, because I've gone ahead to give mine a good press, then hem the lower part of our shirt like so, hem it like so, and then voila, we are done with our vintage shirts. Okay, remember, fix your, and then for the um remaining flap, you can use your hemming gum. Okay, I don't want to have a stitch right there, so I'm going to fold in by half of an inch and use my hemming gum to actually iron it out. So if you do that, that's okay too. So with this, our shirt is 90% ready. Okay, so guys, thank you for watching till the end, and then we'll see you in our next video.